Hello, everybody out there. Impromptu live stream, myself and special guest, the Horror Man.
Hey, everybody.
Guys, we just got done watching X. Now, you said, and you just told me, Joe, this was your third time.
Yeah.
And for me, this was my first time watching it. I've never seen it before. And like halfway through this movie, I just wanted to talk about it. And I don't think there's anybody in the chat yet, but for the people that are going to play this back and watch it, this is how it starts out. I also wanted to talk about how I'm feeling about a lot of the 2022 horror films that we're getting right now,
Mm-hmm.
and just in relation to this, and how I'm feeling in general about the new movies we're getting. So what you and I were just discussing just a second ago is the hype that you felt it didn't live up to, the hype that this movie has gotten. Like I said, people are saying it was one of the best and most original films, in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And myself personally, I didn't really find any originality in this film whatsoever.
I don't either. I don't.
The closest thing I found to originality was when maybe the fact that Mia Goth is playing Pearl and playing, what was her fucking name?
Maxine.
That's kind of original because you got somebody playing both the antagonist and the protagonist.
Yeah.
Or the killer and the quote unquote final girl. That's kind of original, I guess. The split screen during the landslide scene, call it that.
That's my favorite scene. I just like how that's shot. Yeah.
Well, I told you no spoilers. You know what I mean? And then you started talking about a landslide scene, and I was like, motherfucker, there's going to be a fucking landslide in this movie.
And he's that's why I said it, because I figured it wouldn't give it away. Yeah.
Yeah, but as soon as the song came on, I was like, oh,
yeah.
So, guys, we may touch on some spoilers here, just so you know if you haven't seen X yet, because just we're talking about it, and it just might happen. I also did not think that this lived up to the hype it got. And it's not that it was a bad film or anything. There's quite a bit to enjoy in this movie for a horror fan, especially. There was a few things that I had issues with, and we talked about it briefly before, me and Jake. For me, and we just talked about this as well. It could have been the platform I watched it on, where you watched it on the Blu-ray. I can't find my fucking Blu-ray. I bought it, and since the day I bought it, it disappeared. I don't know where the hell it went. So I watched it on Amazon Prime with the Showtime free trial. I got the Showtime free trial and I watched it on there. So maybe it was just a different platform that I watched it on. I thought it was very poorly lit. I couldn't see a lot of it. But like you said, maybe I will watch it on the Blu-ray again when I find the Blu-ray and, go from there. Because even though we just talked about rewatchability, I'm not going to buy a Blu-ray and not watch it.
Yeah.
Or at least watch it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And just a few of the other things, like there was in my opinion, no real originality in it. The kills were pretty good. The best part of the movie, in my opinion, is the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked, and I'm looking at it right now on the synopsis they put on the website or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It says that the young guests find themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. There really was no fight for their lives.
Yeah.
I mean,
all the kills are pretty much out of nowhere.
Yeah, and they're pretty much surprised, every single one of them.
Yeah.
Like, the only two that really, had any like sort of back and forth was Church Mouse, who they locked in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when she did get free, and maybe she shouldn't have cussed out the chick and turned around and ran. That she gets killed right away. And then, of course, the final ending with the final girl, and the heart attack did come into play.
Yep. Exactly.
I really thought it was going to be on that first thrust, but no. Hey,
yeah.
What can I say? Doing pretty good, Anthony. Hey, Jay. Okay, so just let's talk kills, Joe. Okay.
Okay.
We get I mean, they got some good kills, nothing wrong with them in any of them, of course, but like you said, there was really nothing new about it. This movie definitely was TCM meets, I don't know,
Boogie,
Debbie Does Dallas or Boogie Nights or
Boogie Nights, yeah.
yeah, or Zack and Married without the comedy, I
Yeah.
mean, it really was. And like, I mean, we get some fun kills like the pitchfork eyeball thing. I still want to that I do want to watch again. I want to see that again just for that.
I think my favorite kill, other than that final one, I think my favorite kill is the first one is with the with Don't Fear the Reaper playing, because
Or
I
she
like
goes down on him.
yeah, and I love that, like how much she stabs him, and I love the fact that the song is playing in the background, and then it has like that sort of red lighting from the truck. I think that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
One thing
Pretty
about that,
atmospheric.
yeah, that was very cool. One thing I will say about that, did you notice when they shot the end part of that scene and that you were looking out through the cab of the truck? Or
Yeah.
through the cab of the van? That the red light wasn't just outside, but it was inside the van too.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that was like messed up or if it was just a reflection. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
Like, because
sure.
I know it was bloody on the outside because, or it was red on the outside because the blood, But I was like, huh, I did notice that. I was like, should it be red inside the van too? But whatever, that's one of those things that who cares? It's a horror movie and we're watching
Yeah.
watch this guy die,
Like an artistic choice,
Right. Yeah, exactly. And maybe that could very well have been it. It could have been,
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get my De Palma on here,
Yeah. And a lot of it did feel like that with the split screens, especially. It did
Yeah.
have sort of a De Palma look to it. So
I thought that was cool. That was pretty cool. How during the split screen they kept switching the sides.
yes, I like that too.
That was kind of cool, And I mean that song, them doing the song, that was kind of a nice little moment in the movie.
It is, because I love how that moment happens, and there is like a sadness to it, because at this point too, you don't really know what's happening yet. So you're seeing Pearl obviously like in the mirror, and like you're seeing like the two sides of it, like the people she wishes she could have been like, and then what
Right.
she has become. And then I also love how as soon as that scene ends, you have Church Mouse saying, "I want to be in the movie," and it's like, what?
Right.
So it kind of ends like abruptly like that, where it's like boom, it just hits you like, oh shit, here we go.
What's funny about that is at the, towards the end there where she gets freed by Maxine,
Yeah.
and she's sitting there screaming at Maxine how much she hates her.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't force you to do none of this shit. You decided to be in the fucking movie. How
Yeah.
is it her fault that your boyfriend signed up to do a movie with these people? How is it her fault?
It's funny,
Now,
when I was reading stuff online about it, there's so many people who say like one of the most disturbing things they find is actually that kind of aspect of the movie, is about how like she's like this little innocent girl, and then like even RJ, even though he's filming the movie, obviously like they're this real nice couple,
right.
and people were saying they were more disturbed by the fact that this poor bastard had to film his own girlfriend having sex with this guy when he was
Mhm.
so against it, and then like how it affects him after. You see him in the shower after, obviously, and that's what causes him to go out and obviously get killed. And it's
Right.
just, it kind of is a disturbing aspect to that film, because they're like the two people in the movie that are like the innocent people, the people you can almost relate to. And then
Mhm.
that happens and you're like, oh shit, now what? You
Yeah,
know?
he's the filmmaker, but it's I love how you got your character, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Magic Mike.
I've never seen it, no.
I watched it just because of all the hype around it. People were talking about it, and
Yeah.
Gabriel Iglesias was in it, and I'm a big Gabriel Iglesias fan.
Mm.
So I watched the first. I haven't watched the second one. I don't think I
Is that
watched it.
really why you watched it?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, but the oh, I thought it was funny how it kind of like in that movie, the Matthew McConaughey character was like this older, like giving his wisdom kind of dude, and we had the same kind of character, a guy that was even ripped and built and shit in this, who's like
Oh,
an
Wayne?
older,
Yeah, Wayne, yeah.
40-year-old kind of character.
Yeah.
And he's all giving like advice to fucking
Yeah.
what's his name? RJ.
RJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's giving advice to him, and he's all like, let me tell you something. You've never been 40, but I've been 23. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that part was funny. And like I said, I love that part at the end where Pearl got blown off her ass. That was just probably my
I
favorite in the whole movie.
yeah, the way she goes flying is great.
Mm-hmm. And thank God for that dude's bony ass in the way that I didn't have to see that shriveled up old bit. You know, I was grateful for the bad lighting at the point where she took her shirt off when she was standing next to the bed.
Oof.
But I'll say this: they did a great job on the makeup on her.
They
And,
did, yeah.
You know, I mean, that was definitely awesome.
Yeah, it's
So,
pretty. I know when the movie first came out, it got released that Mia Goth was playing two roles, but nobody really knew what the two roles were going to be. And then
right.
obviously, then obviously people figured it out when they were watching it. But
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't know if you didn't know she was playing two roles, you wouldn't really guess. You know, it's kind of like, oh shit, it's her.
And even all the way up to this, me watching this, I went into this movie pretty blind. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the trailers for X. I haven't watched any.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I saw was the trailer for Pearl because I was sitting there in the movie theater, and it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to miss it when you're sitting there in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it comes on, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just assumed Mia Goth played a young girl named Pearl in the movie that decided to kill all the people that came on her daddy's farm or something, the way
Yeah.
she was dressed.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was assuming. I didn't know, you know, anything really about the movie. And
Yeah.
so I was shocked. I was a little surprised. I was like sitting there like, wait a minute. So what's going to happen here? Is she going to go crazy and start killing the people, or, you know, because it starts out with the ending, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it starts out with the, you know, so.
Yeah.
And I just, I wasn't sure what was going on. And then you're like, wait, she's playing both the chick. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
When I first watched X, it was on a screener, and I guess in the theaters too. And if you saw X in theaters, they showed right at the end credits, they went into a scene from Pearl to like kind of introduce what they were doing next.
oh, yeah.
So they kind of like did like a little bit of a little bit of a teaser for Pearl at the end of X. So I got to see that when I first watched X on the screener, and I was like, oh, okay, I see where they're going here. And like I said, Ty West, they filmed them back to back, and Mia Goth co-wrote Pearl with Ty West.
Oh, okay.
And you know, it's like I said in my video about Pearl. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's not. I think Pearl is a good movie. There again, there's a lot that I did like about it, specifically Mia Goth's performance. Once again, I think she's fantastic in Pearl, but it just doesn't offer anything new. And I feel like X is more original than Pearl is, and I don't think X is original at all.
All right.
Like
I still want to see Pearl. I really do, because I still, like I said, I did see the trailer for Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And unless they put all the best stuff in the trailer, it still looks better than what I think X was.
Yeah,
well, I don't know, you know.
I think honestly, I think that's what it is. I think the trailer looked better than the movie, in my opinion. So I think that's what was kind of a letdown, because I was like, damn, the trailer looks pretty good. And then I'm serious when I say an hour of the fucking movie went by, and I was like, dude, I just want to like go to sleep. Like it wasn't doing it for me. It was like, oh, it was just dragging.
Right. And, you know, and something else we talked about, you know, the rewatchability of films. And, you know, like you said, if you don't really like a film, you're more apt to watch it again to see if you'll like it more. Whereas
eventually, yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm more like, maybe I'll get curious again and be like, oh yeah, maybe this will be better this time around.
Yeah.
But and I'm going to use these as examples. I'm not starting anything with these two movies, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I did that with Lords of Salem, and I still didn't like it more. In fact, I liked it less. And I also did that with Halloween 3, and I've done that with Halloween 3 for every year since, you know, I've seen it the first time. But that's because of Bill, and he always wants me to watch it. So
yeah,
you know, but I just feel like, and that's where I wonder if that resentment for some of those two movies kind of comes from, is like, well, I wasted my time when I really didn't like it anymore, you know.
I mean, the big one for me is Black Christmas. I've watched that now 3 times, and I honestly, I don't think I ever want to watch it again.
Do it?
I don't think I ever want to watch it again. Like,
literally, I did that after the first time.
That's literally just one of those movies I just don't have any. I watched it the first time with my son, and we were both like, "Wow, that was bad." I watched it a second time, and I was like, "Okay, now at least I know what to expect." And I was like, "Wow, I still hate this." And then I watched it the third time with Jason, so we can do the positive spin. We have that coming up in December, and that is like, if anybody asks me what is your least favorite movie of all time, it is Black Christmas 2019. I fucking hate that movie. I do. I mean,
I
and
understand.
you know me though. You know it takes a lot for me to hate a movie.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that movie.
I understand.
I hate that movie. Like, and that's not even. It's not even like I hate it because it's a bad movie. I hate that movie because it pisses me off because they could have made a good
They
movie.
could have. There is a good movie in that movie. I've said it
They
before.
chose not to. They chose to just
Mhm.
stick with their agenda and focus on
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And
They
that's what
did.
pisses me off about it.
Yeah, I said that too in my review of it. There's a good movie in there.
And again, we did a positive spin. I found a
Mhm.
couple of things for my positive spin, but
Yeah.
you know, this isn't a positive spin right now. This is a stream, and on the stream, I'm
Well,
telling you, I fucking hate the movie.
yeah. Right.
That movie sucks.
And you know what? Honestly, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. There is very few movies that I truly hate.
Yeah.
There's a lot that I really don't like. There's some that I just don't care about.
Mm.
Like Black Christmas. I watched it once, and that was plenty for me. For those of you that aren't paying attention, we're talking about 2019 Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, I don't have any desire to ever watch that movie again. You know what
Me
I mean?
neither.
And maybe if I did watch it 3 more times, I might really, really fucking hate it. But it's just like one of those things where it's like it's beneath me even. And I'm not trying to say that like I'm so high and mighty or anything. Just
No,
it's just like
that movie is beneath most people, honestly.
it's just it's beneath me wanting to even care about trying, or caring about hating it. It's like whatever, go away.
I don't see how anybody can watch that movie and not see what they were obviously doing, like, and not
Right.
think, well, geez, they went overboard with this, you know?
I agree. I definitely agree there. And it's
But as far as watching other movies, like, okay, so I've only seen Get Out
mm,
once, okay?
okay.
And I watched Get Out when it first came out on Blu-ray. Obviously it was nominated for the Best Picture Oscar. Like, this movie was fucking praised. People were talking about it was the greatest thing. Jordan Peele's gonna be the next Hitchcock and all this shit.
Yeah,
But
which I still don't get, but okay.
everybody loved Get Out. And
Mhm.
I was so excited to watch it because I was like, damn, even if this is getting nominated for an Oscar, fans love it, critics love it. Maybe this is probably going to be good. And I remember watching it and not hating it, but thinking, okay, I'm waiting for something big to happen. Like, it felt like something was building, but then it just
Mhm.
never came. And I
Right.
remember the movie ending and I was thinking, wait, that's it? Like, I was almost shocked. Like, I think that was one of my most surprising movie viewing experiences because I was like, this is really what everybody's talking about.
Right.
So with that being said, it's been years now. So I am really curious to revisit that one probably sometime
Mhm.
soon, just because it's been a while since I've seen it. And now that I know what to expect, I want
Yeah.
to see if I appreciate it at least a little bit more. But I don't know. I was very disappointed with that. I liked Us more.
And see that like we just said, I don't really have a lot of want to watch a movie I didn't enjoy that much again, but sometimes, like you said, time goes by
Hmm.
and you just kind of like, hey, you know what, maybe I'll pop this in, maybe I'll give it another shot, or
Yeah.
whatever, and sometimes it does work out and sometimes it doesn't.
Mm.
And I'm always grateful when it does.
Yeah, and that's how I
Always
feel. That's
grateful
why
when it does.
I kind of look forward to like even like Pearl. Like, even though it'll be a while before I want to watch Pearl again.
Mhm.
That was like the one positive that came out of it. At the end, I was thinking, okay, well, this is going to be an interesting one to revisit some point down the line
Yeah.
to see if my view change on it. Because again, it's a rare case for me to watch something and really not like it.
Mhm.
And again, it's not to say that I didn't like the movie as a whole, because there were things that I liked, but out of all the movies I watched this year, that's my least favorite.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because so many people are talking about how it's one of the best horror movies of the year, and for me, nope. I mean, people shit all over Halloween Ends, and I loved Halloween Ends.
And you know
So,
what's so fucking funny about that too is people are like, and I said this a little bit in my review, and I didn't want to give spoilers. I will maybe a little now because it's been out for a little bit, but well, maybe not. Maybe I'll still try to keep because that one's still pretty underground. Terrifier 2.
mhm,
People are fucking raving about that movie, and don't get me wrong, I fucking loved it. I had a blast with it. Okay,
yeah,
but in that movie, you watched it.
I did,
They make
and
some of the exact same
it
choices that
it
they
is
did in Halloween Ends.
exactly.
But because Terrifier 2 is not the iconic Michael Myers,
Yep,
they're getting away with it.
yep,
Whereas with Michael Myers, because it's a Michael Myers film, they're not getting away with it. It was an artistic choice. Let it fucking go already.
Exactly.
You know, you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine, but
And I think
it's not the
not
end of the world.
not that it's fear to Terrifier 2, but one of unfortunately it does kind of sway my opinion on it
Mm,
because of that. I go in and it's like it's tough for me to put that aside because I'm like, okay, I noticed that right away. And you had said it when you watched Terrifier 2. I'm like, wait a minute. They made a lot of the same decisions that Halloween Ends
yeah.
makes.
I'm not
And
saying the same plot points. I'm saying they kind
no,
of
but
went this way and then they went bam over here
eh,
into
yes, and
some different territory.
even the whole like working with somebody kind of
Mhm.
thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they
and
even
that's a
went
big
into the
part of it.
supernatural too, the supernatural aspects that,
Yep.
you know, Halloween Ends. And you know what's so funny is I've actually seen people, and even the people that have defended Halloween and still saying, oh no, there was no supernatural aspect there. Michael just let him go because he saw the pain in Corey's eyes. I was like, no, it's pretty fucking flat out that his eyes start to change and all that, and that Michael put something in him. You know, like once he goes out of the tunnel, his eyes are black.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't black before he went out of the tunnel.
Yeah. And there's you know how they release like the novels too with it, the
Yeah.
company.
Mhm.
In the I guess apparently in the book it literally specifically states it too.
I've heard that too. And,
Yeah.
you know, but, you know, and I don't want to get off on a big tangent on Halloween Ends because we both know that we love that movie and we're not going
Oh
to,
yeah.
I'm not trying to change people's minds. I really don't care if people like it or don't like it.
No, exactly.
What I don't like is when people unnecessarily bash something but
Yep.
can't give a reason why, but
Mhm.
just sit there. Like, I mean, okay, once again, just an example, not going to get into it. I hate Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Hate it with a passion. That's my most hated film. But I can give you every reason why I don't like it. A lot of
Mhm.
these people with Halloween, they're just like, oh, it sucks. It's not like Michael Myers. Why not? Well,
And
uh,
yeah.
he had a partner. Okay, and what else?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I'm like, that's why you don't. That's it, really?
And that's
Hmm.
and in the reverse, that's like why in my Pearl video, I wanted to know why people loved it so much because I wanted to,
Mhm.
I was genuinely curious if I was missing something.
Yeah.
And trust me, I paid very close attention, like especially when I'm watching something planning on reviewing it, I was paying very close attention. And sure enough, the comments that I'm getting are the same things that I like about it. Oh, well, Mia Goth was great in it. Okay. That's fantastic. But there are plenty of movies I don't like that have great performances. Like
Mhm.
a
Hereditary.
great performance isn't going to make me just love a film. I mean,
Hereditary is one for me. That's a perfect example right there.
yeah, yeah. So and nobody else could really say anything else. It was like, oh well, it's
Mhm.
shot well, and Mia Goth is great in it. Okay, but
Mhm.
what else? Like, what else am I missing? Because I got that, but it doesn't make that
Yeah.
a great film.
And like with this one, you and Jay both were talking about how well he shot the movie, and like I said, the guy knows how to point a film and he knows where to put that split screen. But
Yeah,
unless it was a format thing, until I do see that it is, I still really didn't. I thought it was very poorly lit, which usually in most films is not the director's job to make sure that it's lit well. But if I'm the
no, no,
director, I'm gonna make sure that shit's the way I want it. You know,
yeah.
I'm just saying. That's all.
I feel like I mean, on the Blu-ray anyway, the scenes look very realistic. Like there are
Mhm.
dark scenes, but I can see everything. Like you were talking about the kill in the barn.
Right.
Like I could see that very clearly. If
Mhm.
you couldn't, maybe it really was just like the streaming service.
It could be. You know.
Um, I think it had a realistic lighting because sometimes too there's a scenes in movies that are supposed to be dark, but it's like where are these fucking lights coming from? Like like I
Right.
feel like with this it was lighted realistically, but
Mhm.
I was still able to see everything. So hopefully you can see it better on the Blu-ray.
Yeah. One thing I really liked about one of the scenes I really liked was the scene where Mia Goth is swimming and she doesn't
Yeah,
realize that the crocodile's coming in behind her, the
I
alligator.
love that too. I also love how they cut to her quick and then they cut back to
Mhm.
the other scene. Then they cut to her
Right.
quick and then to the other scene. And they did that a couple
Mhm.
times throughout the movie.
They did between the cows and the thing. They did that,
Yep.
on the highway there. But like, and then so, but the thing with that scene is it put this expectation in me that that alligator or crocodile needs to come into play.
Yeah.
X. We're talking about X, Tiffany. That needs to come into play, and it kind of did. But once again, with the lighting, I didn't really see it. I didn't see a damn thing. I knew that the guy got shot because I saw the gun go off, and but
Yeah.
I didn't see the actual like. All I could hear was the splashing and see, a little bit, but it was kind of dark and I couldn't tell really. I couldn't like, I'm hoping that there was like, I mean, did you see, is it showing a crocodile ripping him apart or?
The crocodile, Bobby Lynn gets ripped apart by the crocodile. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it actually showing it? Like,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can see it.
okay. Yeah. Uh, um, the, and I also wonder too if because the hype this movie got,
Hmm.
like you were saying, and then I wonder if that's why they put out Pearl so fast. I know they
I
said they shot them back to back, but usually when they shoot movies back to back, they'll usually put at least a year in between. And I wonder if they put it out so fast because they had a feeling that, like, they with so many of these movies where hype gets up like that so fast
it's a
that
good
it was
thought.
going to die so fast, so they were going to capitalize while they could.
It's a good thought, but as far as I know, Ty West had planned he wanted them both in the same year anyway.
He did. Okay, so that was
Yeah,
pre-planned then. Okay, I didn't.
yeah. I'm pretty sure it was pre-planned. I'm pretty sure even like in that teaser at the end of the movie. So like when this movie premiered in theaters, I'm pretty sure the teaser even said it that it was like coming like whatever it was,
Okay.
October or whatever month it was that was
Okay.
released.
All right. Well, then, you would know more. Like I said, I really went
It
into this
was
movie pretty
yeah.
blind. I
That's
didn't.
what I found interesting about it. Like he had planned that all along. Like they just filmed back, and we're anticipating releasing them like months apart.
Right. Okay. Um. Now I'm not real familiar with Ty West. I know he's done other films, but this is the first Ty West movie I want. Jason listed those films of his.
Yeah, House of the Devil is fucking great.
Unless he's done even more. I don't think I've seen any of his other films.
Yeah.
So I mean, and like you were saying, how people were talking about how hello, Mr. and Mrs. Heaven Sent. You were talking about the way they talk about Jordan Peele, about him being the next great thing or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, it's all well and good to really like somebody, but I mean, come on, let's be honest here. There's nobody out there right now that, in my mind, is the next giant horror director, with the exception of James Wan.
Yeah.
But he is now. That was since Saw. Saw has been 20 years ago. How long has it been now? It's
So it
been
was
20 years. About
2004, I think. Yeah.
yes, almost 20 years. So I mean, he's established now.
Yeah.
He is established. He is the best, in my opinion, the best current
Yeah, because I mean,
non-John
he's not
Carpenter
not only
legend.
Saw, but he has The Conjuring and Insidious and everything else
Yes,
to back him up.
all those great films, and
Yeah.
and then he did Aquaman, which showed he knew how to direct a different kind of a film. So to me, James Wan is the only current director out there that is the next legendary director. Now that being said, that I know for, like, I think I know for sure that he will be. Now there's a lot of really good directors out there I really like. There's, even in the independent scene, there's oh fuck, god damn it, I knew I was going to draw a blank as soon as I went to mention her name. Damien Leone. I really like what he's doing with the Terrifier franchise. I want to see where it's going to go. I think he kind of threw everybody for a loop, but I have a feeling when we watch part 3, a lot of people are going to go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's my opinion. Oh, god damn it! I interviewed him, and now I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy that did Never Hike Alone.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Vincent DeSanti.
Even in short films, I mean, you can see his talent.
Yeah, Vincent DeSanti. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we were just talking about, Ben. I'm not, neither me nor Joe are saying that X is a bad movie. There was things that we really liked about it. I just don't think it was this great film that everybody talks about. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying, Ben, is that Damien Leone still has a lot of stuff to go through. He's still got a lot of movies he needs to make to be up there, But I think that he shows talent. I think he shows promise.
That's how I feel about like Robert Eggers. Like Robert Eggers, I've loved every film he's done so far. But I mean, he's only done a handful of films, so I mean, I can't call him a next to Palmer or Hitchcock like other people do. But with that being said, if next movie he released, I'm already excited for his next film because the 3 films that I've seen by Eggers I absolutely love. I mean,
Who'd
the
you say?
Witch,
You
the
said who?
Robert Eggers.
Okay,
He
Robert
did
Eggers.
he
I
did
was
the Witch,
thinking,
he
yeah,
did the
okay,
Witch, he did the Lighthouse, and he did the Northman.
okay,
And
yeah.
all 3 of those movies I love.
And
So
homeboy that did Hereditary and Midsommar,
that's Ari Aster, yeah.
Ari Aster. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm terrible with names tonight, dude, for real.
I'm a fan of his as well, and he
Was
has some
not a
really good
huge
short.
fan of Hereditary, but it was still technically
Oh yeah,
very well accomplished film. It was shot beautifully. This guy, whether I like the story or not, this guy is a really good director.
yep.
He shot it beautifully. I mean, the performances he got out of those actors were, and if you don't think a director has a lot to do with the performances of the actors, you're mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
because it very much has a lot to do with the performance of the actors. And no, I wasn't talking to you, Joe. Just in general. Um, and then Midsommar, that movie I thought was amazing. I love that movie.
I do too.
And I haven't even seen the extended version that you got to see that was on the what is that on? It's not even, you had to get the import, right, for that?
I have it on VHS.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was
And then
like
I think they had it on Apple for free, or if you got Apple TV.
and they released it overseas. They released it. They haven't released it officially here yet.
Which, like, I'm like, fuck Apple. I don't like Apple. Fuck them. But and this kind of brings up what I want to talk about with a lot of the other, newer films that are coming out this year. This is now, all right, this was the first one. Okay, X, all right.
Mhm.
But since then, we've had 2 more films come out this year. 3 more if you count Terrifier 2, but I kind of agree with Terrifier 2. But 2 more that I've heard people say this is the best horror movie of the year, best horror movie in a decade, most original movie ever, all this kind of things I've heard. And those movies are Barbarian.
And Pearl.
Oh, actually, I was going to say Smile. Smile.
Oh, Smile too, yeah. Pearl's
Now, I'm going to watch Smile because Smile is on Paramount Plus. I just saw it.
Yep.
I don't even know if it's out on Blu-ray yet.
Not yet.
But it's out on Paramount Plus, so I'm going to watch it. And because I'll, at the end of each year, I always do like the best movies that came out in the year or whatever, my favorite.
Me too. Yeah, I'll be doing the
and
same
I
thing.
want to, I feel like I haven't watched a ton of them, so I want to get a couple more in.
Yeah.
And they're not all going to be horror films either. I'll tell you that right now, because my current favorite of the year, unless it changes, I'm going to watch them a couple more times, is not a horror film. So,
yeah, I mean, I usually do that too. I usually do like my favorite movies of the year, so it's just overall.
Yeah, me too. And I may do my favorite horror films too, because it's another video that people will.
Well, honestly, what I'm gonna do is at some point early in next year, I'm gonna do a top 2 for this year.
I am too. I'm waiting for you to tell me what week we're gonna do that on.
Yeah, I'm waiting to find out what my top 2 are going to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too right now. Yeah.
Exactly. So once that happens, it'll be like early, probably some point in January.
Yeah.
I'll be doing it.
Now, but what I wanted to say is that I keep hearing all these things. We keep getting this over and over again this year, especially with horror films. I heard it a little bit with Nope, and then that kind of died away. Yeah. I heard it. Definitely heard it. I've heard it about Smile, and I'm really happy that Smile's doing so well in the box office. Really happy about that, because that means that we will get a lot more, new films that are, I don't want to use the word original because I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say here's the thing with Smile.
Really original about anything, but
yeah, here's the thing with Smile. It's like people are loving it, and I'm glad. But I've also heard people saying that they don't find it original because it's a lot like It Follows and something else.
Don't tell me that. You know how much I hate It Follows.
That's what I've heard. Like I said, I haven't seen it. I'm just saying what I've seen other people say.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, I know you don't like it, but a lot of people do like It Follows, so it kind of makes sense that everybody's liking Smile if it's like It Follows,
Well, It Follows and Lords of Salem both kind of fall in that same category for me. One of the reasons why I don't like them very much is that I was so hyped about both of those movies and they just let me down. Like the hype was just real with me. I thought when I saw the trailer for It Follows and I was getting into all the talk and we were discussing it on, on Twitter and all kinds of stuff, I couldn't wait for that movie to come out.
Well, I didn't see It Follows for the first time until like last month. So yeah, I think that's what helped with me is that I had never seen it. I knew it was big when it came. Don't get me wrong. I remember the hype when it came out, but for some reason, because I waited so long, that I don't think that affected my viewing of it, and I really enjoyed it.
Right. For me, It Follows was Final Destination, but sex was the bad guy. You know what I mean?
And then I think the Lords of Salem for me. I mean, I just think it's.
I want to give that one a chance because you guys keep loving it.
I fucking love it. And also a big part of it for me is the location, because I've been there so many times.
Yeah.
And it just, I feel like he really captures the setting. Like, it feels like Salem watching the movie.
I almost feel like I'm making you guys mad when I say I don't like it.
No, for me, it's one of those movies that I fucking love. Like, I really do. I mean, that'd be like, and we all have our own opinions. We bust each other's balls and shit. But that's like somebody, even though you respect their opinion, that would be like somebody going to you and saying, "Oh, I hate Halloween. Halloween sucks." You're gonna be like, "Really? What?" You know what I mean? You're gonna be like, "How is Halloween?"
I tell Rick that all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those things. That's the kind of love I'm starting to get for the Lords of Salem. I'm not saying it's Halloween, but it's definitely very high in my favorites of all time now.
Right. And that's how I felt about 31. Remember, we were telling you to watch 31.
Yeah, and I love 31.
But people hated on that movie so much, and I was like, dude, this movie rules. It's like everything in a horror, and especially a slasher or
it's
a
everything
TCM kind of fan or any of the cults, all that kind of shit. Like, it's everything's in there, you know.
Yeah. I agree, Ben. I can definitely see why some people hate the Lords of Salem. I think my thing is I think some people need more viewings of it.
I don't hate it.
I think that's one. The more you watch, the more you can appreciate different things he did in it.
Maybe, yeah.
I do. I really do. I feel like it's a very complex kind of movie. I feel there's multi layers to it.
Oh, it's definitely complex because I've watched it 2 or 3 times now, and I'm like, wait, I'm still like, how do we go from here to here right now?
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think he really put a lot of effort into that movie, and I think it really shows the more and more you watch it.
Sometimes, and I'm just gonna say this because I love Rob Zombie films. Yeah. There's only 3 that I really don't like, and that's the 2 Halloweens and Lords of Salem.
Yeah.
Every other movie he's come out with, I've really enjoyed, including the new Monsters.
I fucking love the Monsters, so I love the Monsters.
That was a really fun film.
I had a blast. Yeah.
But like, I feel like sometimes I wonder if he almost gets a little too excited, and then like will mess up something in his movies because he's so excited about doing stuff. And that's just a personal question. I'm not saying he does. I'm just, it's like I watch AEW wrestling on occasion, and I see that with the guy that runs that, Tony Khan. He's such a fanboy of wrestling or whatever that you can tell that he can't make the way he acts and the way he does things, and
hey, Sean.
It's like he's like this little kid going, ooh, here's my new toy to play with, and and that to me is not the way you run or a business or whatever, Yeah. Brad Reed. Okay, what do I think of Jeepers Creepers? I do not like any of the Jeepers Creepers movies that I've seen. I haven't seen the new one, but 1 through 3, I am not a fan.
I'm actually a fan of them, even the new one that everybody hates. I liked it. But yeah, I get a lot of crap for liking that one, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I was not a fan of Jeepers Creepers, not because of any of the Vince DeSalvo or whatever his name is, Victor DeSalvo, yeah. Not because of any of that stuff, because I didn't even know about it when I saw the movies,
Yeah.
But just I was bored. I was bored by them, especially the first one.
Well, I find it funny. I find it funny that people use him as an excuse to not like part 3. Like, oh, how could you like that? Victor Salva did it. Then I've literally had conversations with people. I'm like, did you like the first one? Yeah. Well, he fucking made the first one too. Like, why do you just picking and choosing now when to use that as an excuse? Well, Victor Salva made it, so I don't like it. But they like the first one.
Yeah, I don't really care about, just that first movie, I couldn't get through without falling asleep. Literally, I fell asleep every single time I watched it until one of my friends asked me to review it, and I had to force myself, like every time I was falling asleep, to like slap myself and stay awake. I'm not kidding.
First time I watched Jeepers Creepers, I was really digging it until I found out he was a creature. And it's not to say that I didn't like it after, but
the first like half of the movie kind of plays out more almost like it's gonna be like a slasher, some kind of creepy guy in like a truck with like this, with the jacket and the hat. You can't really see his face. So this is pretty cool. Yeah, it has a nice little creepy atmosphere. And then it was revealed to be like a monster movie. I was like, shit, this is not even what I expected it to be.
Right.
And but I do like. I mean, I do.
I think it's a cool concept. You got a monster movie and a slasher in one.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of like, I mean, like Freddy Krueger is kind of a monster movie and a slasher in one. I mean, you know, but we don't know the backstory really behind the creeper totally, except for that he comes around but like, you know.
Yeah, part 3 gives a little bit of the backstory.
Right. But I mean, like with Freddy, he was definitely a human being before he, you know.
Yeah.
Now with the creeper, we don't know what he may have been way back in the day, but like part 3 was my favorite one of those films. I thought was funny. Like,
yeah, I thought 3 was great too.
You know?
And well, I mean, that's like I love the new one, and you know, people complain all because the CGI. Okay, other than the bad CGI, I love the setting in the new one, and that one feels the most like a slasher film. So for somebody like me who loves slashers, like it's like a Jeepers Creepers straightforward slasher. So it's I don't know, you know, what it is that people hate so much. I can understand if they don't like it. People hate this movie like it's the worst fucking thing ever made. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, dude, and Brad Reed. I'm not sure if that's your name or what, but well, that's what I like. I'd like number 3 better than, but I still didn't like any of them. So I'm sorry that's pathetic. Anyways,
well, number 3, I like 3 a lot too.
You know, you can respect it or not, but everybody is scared by what they're scared by, if they're scared at all. There's not a horror movie out there that scares me like I'm going to run and hide from, but there are movies out there that disturb me. And if you know, like the kind of person I am, the 2 movies that disturb me the most in this are probably, well, actually 3 movies: The Omen Part 3, Final Conflict, and The Conjuring. All 3 of those movies deeply disturb me on another level, but I love them. You know, I still love watching them. Even Halloween to me is a very scary film. When I would watch that when I was younger and single, and I would get high and drunk at the same time and then watch Halloween, I'd be looking behind me and I'd be seeing Michael Myers in the corners and shit. You know,
I always say, to me, what makes Halloween a scary movie is the fact that
it's real.
It's that, and it's also like you have like Tommy Doyle, who keeps talking about the boogeyman, and when you have these people who are supposed to be responsible for you, like whether it's a babysitter or a parent, whoever, telling you the boogeyman doesn't exist, and then you look behind them and the fucking boogeyman is walking right towards you, like that's terrifying, because it's like being a kid and nobody is taking you seriously, and you've been right the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. And I still think that the original Nightmare on Elm Street is probably one of the scariest films ever made. Not for somebody like me that's seen it 50 times, but you watch that movie, the concept is scary. The imagery is scary, and like that opening dream sequence with Tina, and where he's, you know, his arms are reaching out, and this is God, you know, he's fucking scary. He looked fucking scary. I mean, you know, when I was a little kid, that scared the shit out of me, but I still loved every second of it. You know. No, I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. I very much believe in God and Jesus and a bunch of that stuff. So, but I'm not going to get into all that on this stream.
The Chiefs are about to win, by the way, which I think is good for you.
Oh God, no, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because they're facing the Chargers, so it'll knock the Chargers down.
Well, the Chiefs winning is never good for me.
But it's a division game, so
I know, but
the Chiefs are going to win the division. So that's the thing.
And our division's terrible. We're not even. We haven't won a division game yet.
At this point, if the Chiefs, you just keep the Chiefs winning because they take the division, then you have to just worry about getting a spot in the playoffs.
And we haven't even played the Chiefs yet. We don't play them until the end of the year.
Yeah, Chiefs just won 30-27 because Justin Herbert threw an interception. The game.
I can't believe how Denver lost that game today. I was so bothered by that.
I couldn't believe it. When you said it, I was like, wait, they lost?
Yeah. Both. I like them both. I don't get into all that beef bullshit. That's all fucking gay. Anyways, you know, back to what we were talking about though. We keep seeing that about these films now. And I'm super glad that Smile is done so well in the box office. Because like I said, then we're going to get more films. And when I was saying, I didn't mean the word original. What I meant was not established. Like,
like it's not a sequel. It's not a remake.
You know, yeah, exactly. It's a new movie. It's something different. And that's awesome too. But Halloween, you can say whatever you want about Halloween Ends. People didn't like it or whatever. It still made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, and
so I'm glad for that. What
the
up,
bashing
Bum?
of that, the bashing of that one does get to me because it's like, people, people, oh, they ruined it, they ruined it. How did they ruin it? Go back and watch
Yeah.
the others. Go back and watch the others, and this movie doesn't change anything else.
Everything that's in that movie, though, is like a reflection of the entire franchise.
Exactly.
Everything, it was like they were saluting the entire franchise in that one film.
Yep.
You know, and it's funny, and I didn't mean to skip over, but I forgot to say hi to Sean when he came in. And Mr. Bones, what's up, bro?
Hey, Bones.
I did not when it first came out. Okay, I saw it in theaters when it first came out. I really, really hated the Halloween remake. I couldn't stand it. But there was two things I loved about the movie: the mask, and I loved Tyler Mane as
he's great, yeah.
As Michael. Now some people were like, "Oh, he's too big," you know, dude. Tyler Mane was fucking intense.
Yeah, he's imposing, so he's intimidating.
Yeah,
just to look at, you know.
I mean, I still think, and people say he's the most brutal. No, I don't think so. James Hugh Courtney is way more brutal. But that's
I do think, I know. I am one of the people who does think he's more brutal in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But next for me would be James Jude Courtney in Halloween Kills.
The thing about that is, and this is where, you know, I'm just going to say this part of it, is that one of the things that I hate so much about that movie is that he's no longer Michael Myers. In my opinion, it's like Rob Zombie made him not be Michael and turned him into giant Rob Zombie. You know, like he looks like Rob Zombie. You know, at the end of the movie when he says "die," he sounds like Rob Zombie. You know? I'm just he went from being Michael to being giant Rob Zombie, and to me that was one of the things I didn't like that movie. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. But at the same time, I don't blame him for that. I actually blame Rob Zombie. You know, I don't blame. God damn it, tell me his name. I mean, thank you. See, I'm terrible today.
Halloween.
Have we watched Halloween the remake repeatedly since then? And I've actually gotten to where I kind of like that movie now. There's still things about it I absolutely can't stand. Like, I don't like that they gave him a backstory. I don't like the dialogue, you know, but I really do enjoy. I really do enjoy, like, once it gets going, you know, once he starts going after.
Yeah, like the second half.
Everything and all. Yeah, I really enjoy it. After the rape scene, basically.
Yeah.
You know, which also didn't need to be in the movie.
Well, I actually prefer the theatrical cut of the remake.
For that part, I do. For that scene, I do. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. They could have just done it without him getting out. He could have gotten out of 500 million ways. He didn't need the rape scene. Yes, that's what we were just talking about. Was the new Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
I do. I've gotten to where I actually kind of like enjoy some of that movie, you know, and it's actually moved up in my ranking a bit.
Halloween 6, you know, Brad Reed is the one with Baby you're talking about, with Paul Rudd. Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah, that was like 1996. That was forever ago.
95, yeah.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, so like what we were talking about earlier is sometimes rewatches can pay off.
Yeah.
You know, and I still don't like that movie. Like it's not my go-to fucking Halloween film when I want to just watch a random Halloween movie. You know, but it's moved up. I'll probably watch it over Resurrection now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny about that too, is I was watching a Busta Rhymes thing today about Busta Rhymes.
Well, I mean, look at, you have a rapper in X and he was utilized well. I mean, that's the thing. You can use them if they can act and they can play the part. It's nothing against Busta Rhymes, because back then it was like, yeah, this is kind of fun, you know what I mean? But it was like they felt like they had like this big thing with LL Cool J who can actually act in H2O.
Right.
They were like, okay, now let's put Busta Rhymes in the next one. It was like, now they're trying too hard.
To be fair, in 1998, a lot of people didn't know LL Cool J could act. It wasn't until a little bit later that he could act.
I think he had DPC by then, though.
Yeah, that's true. Jay is doing family stuff right now. We watched X together a little while ago, and that's what inspired this stream. I really just had this urge to talk about it, and Joe said he wanted to join, so he joined up. The best horror movie to me is the original Halloween. That's my favorite horror movie of all time. That is, in my opinion, the greatest horror film of all time, and if you don't think so, you're wrong.
Yeah, for me, Brad Reed, if we're talking about my personal favorite is Phantasm. But if you ask me what I think is the objectively best made horror film, I would say either John Carpenter's Halloween or Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Those are my top two, I think, of the best horror movies ever made.
Yeah. Psycho, it's definitely one of the best ever. That is 100% no lie. It's not one of my personal favorites, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. If we're talking objective best, I'm saying my personal favorite is Phantasm.
I still put Halloween above it.
Yeah,
but Psycho is like right there. I mean, it's fucking up there.
It's close for me. Yeah, when we watched them for Terror in the Isles, when Jason and I did them, we kind of did them close to each other. And when I watched Psycho, I was like, okay, this might be the greatest horror film ever made. And then we watched Halloween, and it's like, okay, maybe Halloween still has the edge. And it was just one of those things where they're so close for me. When I feel like when I'm watching one, it's the best. But then when I'm watching the other one, that one's the best.
I'm paraphrasing here. I'm not gonna, I'm not saying this is exactly what he said, but in Terror in the Isles, Donald Pleasance said something that the great horror films, what makes them great is that they they draw out this emotion, whether it's fear or anxiety, or excitement, or they draw that out of you, and that's what the best horror movies do. And to me, movies like Halloween, Psycho, The Omen, The Exorcist are all way up there, because not whether they're our personal favorites or not, as far as best made horror films, because they do that perfectly. They draw out.
I know you liked the sequels better, but so for me, growing up watching Phantasm, that's why that was a favorite for me, because it did invoke those sort of feelings. Because it was, first of all, you had a young male as the protagonist, which you really didn't have in a lot of horror films. Right. So as a young male watching it, I was like, I can relate to this kid. Like Mike Pearson was like the ultimate main character in a horror movie for me, because he kind of represented me. And it was seeing someone like my age being part of a horror film and having that sort of unsettling what's going on kind of feeling throughout the whole thing, and nobody believes him. Is this really happening? Is it all in his head? That sort of thing. So it invoked those feelings for me, which is why I've always loved that original one. And I mean, I love the franchise as a whole. I love all the Phantasm movies. But the first one for me, I think that's why I love it so much, because how I could relate to Mike as a kid watching it.
Okay.
That's what did it for me.
And with you, we were talking, you said you only saw It Follows a month ago. I only saw Phantasm when I watched it the first time to review them.
Yeah.
And some of the sequels I just thought were better, were more exciting, were more fun. The first one I thought had some flaws, and but I mean, like I said, I've only watched it once though.
Yeah.
Never know. Maybe I'll like it better. Well, no, that's not true. I watched it twice.
It's just
because I watched it again not too long back on some. I don't remember if I was watching with. Did we watch that together? Did we all watch Phantasm together?
I don't think so.
I watched it with somebody not too long ago.
And another thing is Coscarelli's one of my favorite directors. So not only does he invoke those feelings for me in the Phantasm movies, but Kenny and Company, which is my favorite film of all time.
I still need to watch that.
I've said it before in multiple videos, but he somehow captures what it feels like to be a kid in this movie. It is it's so timeless. Even though I didn't grow up in the 70s when the movie takes place, it's a timeless movie. It makes you remember what it was like to be a kid and have that innocence and not really have any care in the world other than, what am I going to dress as for Halloween? The girl I like in class, is she going to notice me? You know, am I going to score the winning touchdown in the football game? It's like all these things that you think about as a kid, but you don't have to worry about anything else. And I don't know how the hell he does it, but he like captures that feeling on celluloid, and it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so like relaxed watching that film.
Right. I saw your question before, but I wasn't going to interrupt to answer. I will answer it though. Best horror monster, I can't say for sure. I can tell you my favorites. I'm a Reptilicus person myself. If you ever seen that, you know that one. But yeah, I mean, just I don't know. I was never huge into monster movies, like big monster movies or whatever, kaiju films. I do like a lot of them, but you know,
I would say for me it would probably be The Thing, because The Thing can really be anything.
I think honestly, for me, it's probably Dracula or Frankenstein. Just flat out honest.
Well, if we're talking about classics, yeah. I mean,
just movie monsters. Those are two that I have a lot of fun with, and so many different iterations. You know,
if we're talking like Universal, then for me, I love the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I love that creature. I love that movies. But in general, I would say The Thing, only because again, it's sort of like cheating, because The Thing can be any of those things.
And me getting into the Hammer stuff, you know, I know you didn't say kaiju. I was just talking. Me getting into the Hammer stuff more lately, I've noticed too, has kind of really influenced me on some of that. I mean, I've had so much fun with the Hammer Mummy and the Hammer Frankenstein franchise, and just now I'm getting into the Dracula ones. And
I just found a Dracula 4-pack the day at the thrift store that has like Horror of Dracula on it and a few other Dracula movies.
Sean sent me that 4-pack.
Yeah, so I just found it the other day at Goodwill, so I was like, holy shit, here we go. Nice. So I've been kind of been looking for that because I always thought I had Horror of Dracula, and apparently I don't, and then I just happened to find it like a couple days later. I was like, hell yeah.
And it skips a couple, like it skips Bride of Dracula's not on that, but I had that on something else. So it may be different, but they're still monster films.
Oh yeah, Godzilla's a monster.
Yeah, most definitely. The
I mean, it's literally Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So
yeah. I mean, I think that right now we're being very spoiled as a horror community. I don't mean the YouTube horror community. I mean the people that love horror movies.
Yeah.
We're being very spoiled. We have gotten you know, sequels to Scream, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween. What the fuck else? I know there's a couple more. All this year. Hellraiser.
Yep. Even Child's Play. Predator. Even Child's Play with the Chucky series. You know.
Yeah, if we want to go into TV, the Chucky series. Yeah, I mean, and I've been really enjoying that. You know, this season I don't think is as good as last season, but it's been pretty fun so far. I will say this: they're going way meta in this season. They're really delving into like the Curse of Chucky shit, or the Seed of Chucky stuff, and it's been pretty fucking interesting watching them going into this meta territory. It's pretty cool. I thought that was fun. And then we get to see Brad Dourif play Chucky in a way we've never seen Chucky played before in the last couple episodes. You know, dude, okay, I don't know what your deal is, but you need to chill out, bro. For real.
Child's Play was a movie first. Yeah, what we're talking about. We're talking about like sequels and follow-ups to classic movies.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, yeah, but and then also on the other side, and then we got a sequel to Terrifier, you know. But then we've also gotten so many, you know, new and not, I don't know what the word is, original, but like not sequel, not legacy films. You know, we've gotten so many new horror films. And I think we're getting a lot of really good horror right now from everything from the mainstream to the underground.
Yeah.
And I think it's badass that fucking Terrifier 2 has made $10 million. I think it is now $10 million, and from a film that was only supposed to be released for 2 days.
Yeah.
you know, and people kept clamoring for it and clamoring for it. So they put it in a couple more theaters for a couple days, a couple more theaters for a couple days. It's never gotten a full wide release where they just put it out for like 3 months or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so what it's doing on a budget of what they say the budget on it was 250,000.
250,000. Yep.
No, I mean that's fucking insane. I think that's awesome.
And the Blu-ray's coming out December 27th.
Yeah, I'll definitely be getting that. That's Daddy's birthday.
Same day as Halloween. Halloween ends.
Yep.
So I'll be grabbing both of those that day.
Mm-hmm. Me too. So like I said, we're just being very spoiled right now, and it's been a trip. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely been a good year for horror.
It definitely has.
I mean, I've been paying attention more because of wanting to do the top two, you know, with the Tuesday top Tuesdays, and I kind of had that plan all along. Yeah, I definitely want to do it for this year. I've been trying to watch as many new movies as I can, but it's tough. It's going to be tough to pick two.
You know what, Mr. Bones? I agree with you on that, and I'm going to get one of those. I'm going to get one of those TCM Blu-rays done. That's like the made on demand or whatever. They've got some really nice ones out there. And I think I'm going to get one of those made, and probably for Hellraiser and for
Bones. That's why Bones day one TCM came out. I made my copy. Hellraiser came out. I made my copy because I knew those weren't getting physical releases. So
I really liked Hellraiser too. That movie was fucking badass.
I loved Hellraiser.
You know, and all the people that were the few, and I didn't hear a lot of hate. Believe me, I didn't.
No, it got more love than hate.
The few people I did hear hating on it about it being, you know, not Doug Bradley or whatever, it's not the same character.
Yeah,
it's a totally different priest.
Yeah,
you know, and no, I'm pretty sure that those aren't going to, dude. I mean, Netflix is notorious about that. I've been wanting a copy of Hush forever, like a legit copy. Thankfully, my boy here made me a good copy.
You know what's funny, Brad?
No.
My son gave me his Christmas list, you know, a month ago, whatever, and you know, different movies that he wanted, and that was on there. So I sent it to him. I was like, "Is this the Hush from 2016, the Netflix movie?" He's like, "Yeah, it's so awesome." Blah blah blah, going on and on and on. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna have to make that for you, right? There's no actual release, so I had to make him a copy of that.
Hey, pal, I know he's your son and all, but you've been telling me for a while. I'm on the list first. Come on now.
What, Hush? You got it.
No, for the other ones I've been wanting.
Oh, I was gonna say, I definitely did send you Hush, right?
Oh yeah, and you made me a nice copy, cover for it, and everything. It was badass. Fucking loved it. So, yeah, there is. Somebody's making one over in like England or whatever. That's fucking beautiful. I want to get. That's a Region 0.
I love those things. See, my thought is, I like to make my own because then if there is an official release, then I'll pay the money on the official release.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted it on Blu-ray, you know.
Yeah.
I just wanted it on Blu-ray, you know.
Something to keep in mind, though, burn-on-demand Blu-rays are more likely to have issues than burn-on-demand DVDs.
You know, I've noticed that.
Yep. It's a true thing. Blu-ray recordable Blu-rays have more issues than DVD.
Like my release of One Must Fall, which is like the actual release for the movie, done by the people that made the movie. It's still done on the DVR Blu-ray, and I've noticed that it has glitching issues.
Yeah, a lot of them do. Bones, I can. I've done disc art in the past, like years ago, but I don't now just because it's kind of a hassle, and I don't really care. I mean, you know what I mean? If I'm making my own copy, I have like the artwork for like the case and stuff, but I'd be taking away too much time to do all that if I wanted to.
I like the casework. The disc art, it's not whatever, but I do like the casework. Like when you made me the copy of the holiday special.
Yeah.
Dude, that fucking, it looks so legit. Like,
it does.
I mean, and I love that you got the quote on there on the back of it from George Lucas.
Yeah.
You know, if I could, I'd find them all and smash them. And, you know, to your positive spins and what I definitely, I don't know if it got misunderstood. What I was saying was that I can see why some fans wouldn't like it, you know, especially the fans like at the time. Mm-hmm. But like, I can definitely see why George Lucas doesn't like it. You know, you give your permission for this special to come out, and then when it does, it's very goofy, but you're trying to put together this like, you know, epic saga, and it's you know, I could definitely see why he doesn't like it, you know.
Yeah. Bones, I have both actually. But yeah, I really don't mess with the disc art anymore because I just
Yeah.
again, if I kind of make I kind of see them as temporary copies. You know,
Mhm.
I make the copy, and then if there's ever an official copy someday, I'm going to buy it. It's just to hold me over. And if there's no official copy, well, then that's just the one that I have. I mean, what am I going to do?
Right.
I'd rather have it than not have it. So
Exactly. I want every movie ever made, whether I like it or
yeah.
not.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the new Hellraiser again. I knew that it wasn't going to be getting a release or TCM, and I have all the
Mhm.
rest of them. So how can I not have those in my collection?
Yeah. The Star Wars Holiday Special. That's the movie we were talking about. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've got like the Predator films. I have every single Predator Alien film. I even have that box set that's Predator and Alien together.
Mhm.
You know, and I fucking I want Prey on DVD Blu-ray.
Prey's getting a release.
Wow. Is it going to? Why?
It is. That's getting one. I don't know, but it
Why
is.
is Prey getting a release, but
No idea. But Hellraiser's
Hellraiser's
not.
not? What
I
the
know.
fuck?
I don't get it. Brad, what are you talking about? We already answered your question.
Dude, it's just a fucking troll. I've just been being nice. I'm just fucking, he's a
Well,
fucking
I mean, if he's being serious, I don't understand how he
yeah.
has. We've already answered the question.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of being nice already. So
Yeah. Yeah. Prey's supposed to get a release, so that's cool.
yep, me too.
Um.
There's a lot on Netflix that I definitely.
All right. So here's another example. So I watched for my Thanksgiving review, I watched Pilgrim, and then for the 12 Days of Christmas, I did both of the Into the Dark movies. I did Puka and then A Nasty Piece of Work. And you know me, I need to have like a physical copy of something to do a video on it. So I had to make my own copies of those because there's no official releases of those.
Yeah, the Babysitter films, Mr. Bones. The first one did get a Blu-ray release. I actually have it. It did get an official Blu-ray release. The first one did. Why did we never get season 3? Usually it would come out right at the same time as season 4. I don't know.
Stranger Things, yeah, they said they're not
Maybe
releasing
they
the rest.
decided to
They said
not
they're
do
not
'em.
releasing the rest of them. They said the only thing they might consider is doing a complete box set eventually, but it's not confirmed.
Oh. Were they not selling well, or
I don't know, but it's frustrating because I
mm.
have the first 2 seasons and then they stopped
I've got
releasing.
the first season on that like VHS looking set,
Season two's like that too. I have the
you
same
know,
thing. Yeah.
but I don't have the rest of them. But you know what? Honestly, this new season 4, I watched the first few episodes and I'm just not into it.
Really?
I'm just not. I don't know, but like the first season did that to me too. Like the first few episodes I was really into, and then they got kind of boring, and then they got good again.
Yeah.
But with this one, I'm just like I really felt no urge to go back and finish it. So
Hey, Echo.
hey, Echo.
Yeah, Bones. That's exactly.
Um,
I have those two first seasons and those really nice sets, and then they stopped releasing them. So,
yeah. It's also like why didn't like some of the Screams, the one you talked about, didn't get a release, you know?
yeah, the Scream TV series. Yeah,
Yeah.
they released the first season, but then not season 2 and 3. You know what? Honestly, I could care less about 3 because that was a completely different thing. But they should have at least released one more season of season 2, and that would have completed that storyline.
Mm-hmm. So
Exactly, Bones. Yeah.
there's just you know what's so funny about it too is people talk about how physical media is dying. Yeah, everybody's gonna say that. Then one of these days, shit's gonna happen. The fucking internet's gonna crash, whatever, and everybody's gonna be crying because they don't have physical copies of the shit they want to watch. And I said this a while back, and I don't know if I really got the chance to elaborate on it, but the other thing, and I've got 7 different streaming services or so. I don't fucking know the shitload, you know. I've got a bunch of them. I subscribe to a bunch of them. And the thing is, though, is if they don't want you to watch it, they just take it off.
Exactly.
You are at the mercy of whatever it is they want to show.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, oh, you can see anything you want on Tubi. That's not true.
No, it's not.
I've looked. I go looking for certain things, and they're not on Tubi. You know, I Google all the time, where can I stream this? Where can I stream that? Just so I could see. And some of it is like, because I'm traveling a lot, I don't get to watch my physicals as much.
Yeah.
And I've really been like lately, I've been watching old Transformers cartoons. But I was up, you know, at my work, and I had to watch them on the computer. And, you know, I do have them all on DVD and Blu-ray. I've got every single one. But, you know, a lot. And so, yeah, I'm grateful that I can stream stuff and watch it. That's cool. But it will never replace the physical media.
You think people would have learned, for example, like there are still hundreds, if not thousands, of movies that haven't been released on disc that were released on VHS.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wasn't one. I didn't get rid of my collection, fortunately. But there was a lot of people who got rid of their tapes and upgraded to DVD and Blu-ray. But now there's plenty of movies that they still can't watch because they got rid of their tapes. And like I said, luckily me, I hoarded everything. I had everything packed away. Now I have so many tapes that have no disc release, but now you can't watch them anywhere else. So you think people would learn, like, why get rid of your physical media collection because of streaming? And then what happens when it goes away on streaming, like you said, and now they can't watch it at all.
And streaming has made me lazy. I can't tell you how many things I've streamed, even though I have the physical copy.
I do that all the time. I know.
You know, but like also, there's been times where, you know as well as I do, Joe, because I've told you, my internet has gone out for 2 or 3 days at a time.
Yeah.
Because somebody will crash into a substation or whatever, and they got to fix it or whatever. You know, I mean, CenturyLink is by far the best internet I've ever had. It's great fucking internet, but it does have outages once in a while, and sometimes those outages can last for days. So during that time, I like to be able to grab my fucking DVD or Blu-ray and pop it in. You know, and I'm grateful that I have such a big collection that if I want, 9 times out of 10, if I want to watch a movie, I've got it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of films I still need to buy, of course. And there's films I've got in my collection that I'm never going to probably get to watching. You know, I've got tons. I've got thousands of horror films. I probably have 2,000 or 3,000 horror films I've never even watched. You know, but that's a pretty good fucking problem to have, if you ask me.
That's what I say. Exactly. I mean, I have a collection of probably 20,000 movies altogether. So there's going to be thousands that I haven't seen and I probably never will.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm always getting new ones too on top of it. So it's like you can never really catch up.
Right. Well, you know, streaming has its place. I'm really grateful for it, and I don't know if physical media will go away because obviously, I mean, they keep upping it. They up to 4K, you know, and I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but it's still sticking around. And then the vintage stuff makes a comeback.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, vinyl's making a comeback. VHS is making a comeback.
Exactly. Now all of a sudden everybody wants VHS again. It's like, okay.
No, I've done a couple collection overviews of like my Wild Eye collection, but I did that before I have over half the movies I've got now. Like I've got tons more now. I did the same thing on Scream Factory, and that was back when I had like 10, 15 Scream Factory titles. Now I've got fucking, I don't know, 150 or so sitting over there. You know, but like mine are spread out all over the house. I've got 2 movie shelves in this room, and they're all totally packed, including movies in the front. I have 3 big movie shelves out in the other room, 5 small movie shelves, totally filled. And then in my office, I have a movie shelf in there that's just for like Wild Eye and some of my horror Blu-rays that I've already watched. You know, I mean, I've got them spread out everywhere. And then not to mention, I've got like 6 or 7 books down here filled with over 250 movies each. You know, and then fucking...
Yeah, I have a room that's like all VHS, Laserdisc, CED, some DVDs.
Yeah.
And then I have like half of my basement is like everything else, like DVDs and Blu-rays, shelf after shelf after shelf.
Maybe once the kids move out, I can expand more. But in fact, my wife is probably fed up with me because I've got so many shelves everywhere of movies. I
would never be able to do like a collection of movies.
I'm about to move them I'm about to move some shelves into the garage. And then we're actually thinking about moving within the next couple of years. So, I don't know. It's crazy. And I'm planning on keeping this place too. So I may just turn this whole house into a movie.
Right.
And every time I come down here, I'll just have to pick out movies to take with me, But it's definitely the collection, and it's grown quite a bit in the last 5 years. By like a lot. Especially the horror collection.
Yep. YouTube will do that to you.
By the way, do you have a copy of Dick Tracy on VHS?
I do.
I just bought another one, not thinking I had a copy of it, and I do.
Is it the one with the label, the one without the label?
What do you mean?
If you look at the tape, is the title printed on the tape, or is there a big like sticker label on it?
I don't know. I'll have to go look. I'll have to go look at both of them because I don't think I ever either pulled either one of them out when I bought them.
The original release has like a giant sticker release that's literally bigger than typically the sticker's like in the middle of like the VHS tape.
Right.
The sticker is oversized, so it literally is in the middle, but it also comes like down like the bottom part of the tape. Like a giant sticker. That was the first release, and then the re-release, it's like the title is printed in white, like right on the tape itself.
Yeah, there's a lot of I've got like that. I'll have to look. I didn't even look. If they're different, I'll keep them both.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah, you might have two different copies.
Oh, dude, I was filming a fucking toy haul video the other day, and because I got some badass new shit in. I got some stuff my wife got me for our anniversary. I got some new Masters of the Universe. I got some great new Transformers, and I accidentally did it backwards, dude. I don't know if I was just tired because it was pretty late, or what, but I kept pausing between each toy so I could, put them out there and set them up and then talk about them. And instead of filming that, I was pausing where I was actually doing, where I thought I was filming, and what I actually filmed was my prep shit. Well, I've got to go and redo the fucking video.
All that.
But I did get another one of my favorite Transformers of all time. I did get another one. So I was super happy about that. Yeah, so, getting back to X, I definitely still want to see Pearl. Like I said, the trailer got me intrigued. I thought that looked really good. Especially the alligator coming into play on the trailer. That was cool, and I definitely want to see it. I just hope that it's better than this one. And I had this feeling that I was going to be the exact opposite of you on X, where I was going to think, oh, it's so great. And like a lot of other people were. But then as we were watching it, I just really didn't,
And that's like I said, I liked X more than Pearl. And people were raving about Pearl, so it just goes to show you, like, wow.
X gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you. X gonna give it. Yeah, I love that fucking song. Hello, the one and only MSJ.
Hey, MSJ, how you doing?
MSJ, what does that stand for? You've seen people say Pearl is better. I liked it, but don't agree. Okay. Well, the thing was with X is I went into it completely blind. The only thing I'd really heard about it is that Joe said it didn't live up to the hype. That's the only thing I didn't know. I knew about it. And awesome. We watched it today, and There was nothing bad about it. Just I didn't think it was all that great.
No, like I said, there's plenty that I like about it. It's just compared to what people say about it, it's like I was expecting like a masterpiece.
Yeah, it wasn't all that original, like everybody was saying how original it was. Barbarian, I thought, was a little more original. Even that really isn't original if once you watch it. And
Well,
that's something else I want to talk about was Barbarian. Get into that a little bit. You haven't seen it yet,
I
right?
haven't seen it yet, so
Okay, I won't spoil nothing for you. But like I said, I definitely got a Castle Freak. What was the other movie I said? Meets um God damn it. What was the fucking movie? I told you what I thought it crossed me. What it was.
I remember you saying Castle Freak. I can't remember what the other one was.
Castle Freak meets. God damn it! And it perfectly sums it up. Now I can't remember what it is. But yeah, so if you're getting those kind of vibes and it crosses like that, it's not really an original movie. And I mean, like you said, there's a point in Barbarian for me personally where, okay, the movie's going along, right? And you think it's going one way and it's pretty dope and I'm really getting into it. And then it just stops and goes a completely different way. I mean, it all tries to bring it back around. But I found that it did is that it killed that momentum for me. It killed that suspenseful feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wish they wouldn't have done that. I kind of wish they would have just went a little more straightforward with it. I'm going to try and find that and see if I can remember what it was I told you.
Well, it's like I said with it. I mean, like with X, I feel like it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Boogie Nights, and I feel like Pearl is Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning meets The Wizard of Oz. It's like there may be some originality in combining certain movies into a horror film, but the ideas themselves aren't original.
Right.
I mean, Pearl to me was no different than any other like origin movie, and not even that great of one as far as the story goes. Like if you're watching it for performance alone, then yes, Mia Goth is fantastic in it. But other than that, nothing really stood out to me in Pearl. I just found it very forgettable. Yeah, Bones. We saw Terrifier too. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and I loved Terrifier too. Just if you didn't hear me say it earlier, I did. I really loved it.
Yeah, Max. I was saying the same thing. I like X more than Pearl. I think they're both good movies. I think Pearl is a good movie, and there is stuff that I like about it. But I wasn't blown away like other people have been. You know, I don't see it as this masterpiece that everybody claims it is.
Hold down the fort for me for 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, Bones. Brad saw Terrifier 2 in theaters. I saw a screener copy of it, and I liked it. I wish it was shorter. There were things in it that I question why they had to go in certain directions, but I love the kills. I love the final girl. I love the settings. Love the whole mashed potatoes scene. But yeah. Yeah, I can see that, Max. Same thing. That's why like it does have like that has like a Wizard of Oz sort of vibe to it when you really think about it. Not only because of the storyline, but also just the way it's very like whimsical. When you go from like this TCM vibe of X to like this whimsical musical vibe of Pearl. Yeah, Bones, there was a lot I liked about it. Like I said, I feel like it should have been like an hour and 45 minutes as opposed to 2 hours and almost 20 minutes. A little too long for the movie like that, in my opinion. Bones, no, he has not seen it yet. He just watched X tonight for the first time. He hasn't watched Pearl yet. Yeah, definitely, Max.
I remember now, Joe. It was Castle Freak meets Don't Breathe.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah, that's what it was. I'm fine with the length of it, honestly, because I never was once bored, and I enjoyed getting to know the characters.
I wasn't bored. I think for me, I think if they got rid of some of, and I get this, I understand that's what he wanted to do, and part 3 will probably explain more. I get all that, but for me, I feel like he could have taken away some of the supernatural shit, and they still could have been a really good slasher film.
I mean, they could have streamlined it. You know, there could have been stuff that they could have shortened up a little bit. You know, but the whole friend drugging your friend didn't need to be there. I think that kind of comes into play, but towards the
Sorry, Bones.
man, I don't want to say it and give it away. Let's just can I just say the carnival scene? Is that giving too much away? You know, I think it comes into play there, so I didn't mind that. With X, I know sometimes it doesn't matter and sometimes it doesn't, but in this particular movie, the way it was going with, you know, and I mean, if I just want to watch people fucking, that's cool, whatever. But with the first kill not coming to an hour into the film, I was like, damn. I mean, like with Halloween Ends, we got a kill in the first few minutes.
I mean, Pearl's the same way, and I feel like the payoff isn't as good. You know what I mean? Like X, like, you know, you said like you enjoyed the last 10 minutes of X.
Mm-hmm.
With Pearl, I was waiting for like those big 10 minutes to come, and they never really did. So it was really just kind of like, okay, this is it. This is what everybody's raving about. And I think I was frustrated because I waited so long to get to the good stuff, and then when the good stuff happened, it really wasn't all that great.
No, but I may watch it later. I think it's on here. I think I can watch it. I don't know if I have to pay for it. I'll just go buy it. But you know, but maybe I should watch it first because I went and bought X without paying, without watching. You know, so I definitely want to see Smile. And for those of you that don't know, Smile is out on Paramount Plus, and Barbarian's on HBO Max. Because I don't think either of those have hit physical yet.
Not yet. Barbarian's coming soon. I'm sure Smile is too.
Probably, yeah. Ooh, tonight is the new Yellowstone. Gotta watch that. I got it on record. That is something too, Mr. Bones, what you brought up earlier, is it does kind of suck that you have to have, you want to watch everything you want to watch. These days, you have to get 7 or 8 different streaming services. You are basically email all these streaming services say, "Oh, it's better than cable. It's cheaper."
Yeah, you're paying the same amount.
Yeah, but I mean, you do get infinitely more content than you did with your cable. You know,
it's funny to think about how fast this grew, though, because remember when there was like just Netflix, then there was like just Netflix and Hulu, then all of a sudden it was Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, HBO Max,
Disney. You know,
Disney, yeah, it was like holy shit, Peacock, all these things started.
Yeah. Every channel's got one now. Every fucking network's got their own. You know, fucking Apple's got their own. Fuck Apple. Have I said fuck Apple yet?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, but you know, I'm glad that you wanted to watch that movie, and thanks a lot for just totally forgetting about me. By the way.
No, I wasn't sure if I was going to my parents' today because I went there yesterday, and then Erin was there because she works with my stepdad on the weekends. She's like a secretary. So she texted me. She's like, "Oh, your mom said dinner at 6." I was like, "All right, well, I guess I'm going there." So I didn't know what time I was going to get home.
Well, like 2 hours before you got my messages, I put in the main thing. You hadn't been messaging, and I figured you were doing something. But
yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
I put in our group chat. I was like, "Hey, Joe, you still want to watch that movie? I can get it on whatever."
Yeah, I didn't even see it.
And then and then I sent you the voice message like, "Hey, where the fuck are you? You want to do this or not?"
Max, I bought the DVD the day it came out and still haven't watched it. I gotta watch that. Nope.
No, it's an alien film. I don't see anything in that makes me want to watch it.
So
That's one I'll probably watch on a streaming service before I buy it. Like,
it's funny for me because when it came out, I didn't either, even though people were saying good things about it. And then I was at Walmart the day that it came out, and I had like a gift card I was using for other stuff, and I saw it sitting there, and I'm like, let me look at it. So I'm looking at the back, and I read the synopsis, and I was looking at some images, and I was like, you know what, it sounds kind of cool. So I ended up just getting it because I basically got it for free because I had a gift card, you know. And I was like, screw it. I was like, I'm interested enough. I'm sold based on reading the synopsis on the back, and I haven't watched it yet because it's over 2 hours, so I got to kind of be in the right mind for it. Yeah, you bet, Max. Yeah, I just gotta, you know how I am with like longer movies. It's like I want to make sure I'm going to enjoy it if I'm going to designate that much of my time to it.
yeah. And see, I'm like the opposite. I'm like, man, I'll sit down and watch a long movie. You know, I mean,
if I like it, I don't mind. I mean, see, that's my issue with Terrifier 2. It's not that I don't like the movie. And it's not even so much that I don't like the fact that it's long. It's the fact that I'm probably not going to watch it as much if I would if it was shorter. Because
here's the catch-22 of that, though, is you don't know if you're going to like it or not until you watch it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, though. I was watching Casino. Dude, I've been watching Casino for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll watch some of it for a while, and then I'll have to do something. I'll turn it off, and I'll come back to it. And
I mean,
it's one of my favorite Scorsese films. I used to watch it.
Exactly. I'll watch Casino over and over again. I'll watch the Godfather movies over and over again. I'll watch Goodfellas over and over. I'll watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood over and over again. All these movies are long, but because I love them, I'll just keep watching them. But it's like when it's something new, it's like, over 2 hours. To make sure I'm in the right mood.
Yep.
But if I know I like it, then I don't mind.
And also, I think, too, maybe it's just that horror movies generally aren't that long. Yeah. If they are, they're like mini-series or something.
Yeah.
You know, but Ari asked movies, what is this new movie about?
I heard that, Ben.
What's this new one about?
Not sure.
Have you seen Antlers yet?
I haven't seen it. My son saw it. My son and my mom watched it a couple weeks ago, and they weren't really that. They liked it, but they weren't like I probably wouldn't watch it again.
No.
You know,
it's either on Hulu or HBO Max. I haven't watched it yet, though.
They were really looking forward to it. They thought it was going to be good, and I think they really weren't as impressed with it as they thought they were going to be. They didn't dislike it. They just said it wouldn't be something that they would want to watch again.
Right. Oh, speaking of that's what's funny. Joaquin Phoenix. That's kind of how I felt about the Joker. The way people are talking about X. Everybody hyped that movie so much, and I went and watched it, and I was like, this isn't really that great.
Yeah, I like Joker a lot.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, like I said, it's the exact same story as Chocolate Strawberry Vanilla, and they did it better on a much lower budget. I don't know. That's just, to me, that's not who the Joker is. But I mean, you got to remember, too, my favorite character is the Joker. My favorite fucking villain is the Joker. He's my favorite DC comic character of all time. I mean, you know, I think I don't know, it almost feels like a cop-out. It almost feels like we're trying to make him, like they were trying to make him relatable, and I don't want the Joker to be relatable.
I can tell you that I'm not
straight up psychopath.
I am not looking forward to the sequel. It's a fucking musical.
I can't believe they're doing a sequel. That makes no sense, especially, a musical to the vibe of that film. And I'm sorry, but
I don't know why.
fucking Harley Quinn has no place in this world that they're building.
See you later, Max. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, Max, thank you.
Yeah.
If we're taking that movie just on what it is, the rest of the stuff has no place in it. And even if they put Batman in it, It would have to be a version of Batman so totally different than anything else we've seen. Maybe close to, and I know people are going to hate this, but maybe closer to Ben Affleck's Batman than anything. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see that version of the Joker with the other characters. But that's just me. Maybe the music will come out and it'll be great.
Who knows? I was excited for the sequel, and then I found out what it was going to be, and I was like, oh, I don't want that.
So, I don't know. You know what? We talked about this before, but one of the films that's totally dropped off, in my opinion, is The Batman. Like, nobody's talking about that movie anymore.
I love it.
You know, people are still talking about The Dark Knight all these years later, but nobody's talking about The Batman. It was a pretty damn good film.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, it's up there for me. It's pretty. I don't know if it's top 10 or not, but it's up there.
Oh, it is for me, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
It would have been like 6 months ago. But I don't know. There's been a lot come out since then that I really have enjoyed. But it's still pretty up there. I mean, I think it's probably going to make the top 10. I don't know. But I think people need to stop with the categorization of things. And I'm not just talking about movies, but for the sake of this stream, let's just talk about movies.
Okay.
You know, this like I said, people are putting it in the category, oh, it's the greatest ever, or, oh, it sucks the worst. It's, you know, just sit down, watch the movie. If you liked it, you liked it. If you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it. Don't overhype it and don't undersell it.
Yeah.
You know, just be fucking real with your thoughts. And, you know, that's why I did like my Halloween.
I don't know how everything can be the worst ever and so many different things can be the best ever, because like everything that comes out that people like is the best ever.
Especially something so similar.
I mean, everything that comes out that they don't like is the worst ever. Like when Halloween Kills came out, people were like, "This is a piece of shit," blah blah. Halloween Ends comes out, they're like, "This is a piece of shit." You know, it's like, are you really a Halloween fan then? Because every fucking Halloween sequel that comes out, people bitch about.
And so now I see people say, "Oh, Kills is so much better now that I've seen this."
But it's like, I feel like people who say they're Halloween fans, it's like they only really like the first film, and all the sequels they shit on, because all they do is complain about every sequel that comes out. This has been going on this has been going on forever. I mean, you know, people complained about 5, people complained about 6, people complained about Resurrection. I mean, there's always going to be sequels that people hate.
And see, Ben, that's something I try really not to do with my reviews, and that's also one of the reasons why I did my Halloween Ends review the way I did. I literally sat down at this computer, and I've never done this before for any review ever. I typed out the entire review like a script. I even typed out the dialogue, and sometimes I didn't do it, and I didn't sit there and memorize it like I could have done if I was doing an acting job. I didn't, you know, I decided to read it, and maybe that was a mistake, maybe it wasn't, but I did. I read the fucking review because I wanted just my thoughts to be completely coherent and get out everything I wanted to say, and I still ended up forgetting about stuff. Personally, I didn't like the way the review came out myself personally, because it didn't feel like me, like where I just kind of speak my mind, and, you know, but I just wanted to make sure that I got everything down, you know, but I didn't want, like I said, I loved Halloween Ends. I thought it was a great fucking movie. I saw all this stuff in it that I really liked. I liked the direction they took it in. I thought it was logical. I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's the greatest fucking Halloween movie ever, because it's not. It's really fucking good, but it's not the best one. Obviously, my ranking said that, you know, and if I hated it, I wouldn't say, oh, this is the worst thing ever, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's already been taken. It's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
It's like, it's interesting though, because Halloween Ends is probably in my top 5.
It's in my top 5.
The fact that people talk about it being the worst ever made is like, whoa.
Yeah, I'm watched people's rankings too. They're putting it below, like people that are like me that hate Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 are putting it below that. They're putting it below 3 if they hate 3. They're putting it below Resurrection if they hate Resurrection. I'm like, and I swear it feels like they just do it. And I'll guarantee you, half these people when they watch it again are going to be like, "Oh, okay, no, that's."
I mean, remember when you and I watched it, we watched it at the same time. Okay, we watched it like basically the earliest you could possibly fucking watch the movie when it was available. We watched it. So my opinion on it developed before I even knew the movie was getting hate or love.
Me too.
I watched it and I was watching it with my son, and we were both like, "Wow, that was awesome! I loved it. That's one of my favorites."
As soon as I put out my
then all of a sudden we started seeing all the hate. We were like, "What the hell is going on here?"
I watched that movie like as soon as it hit fucking Peacock, and because I had already bought my tickets for the film when I was going to go see it with Bill. I had bought my tickets, but we weren't going to be, I wasn't going to be home for a while, so I had to get them a few days out. But it's Halloween. If I can watch it, I'm going to fucking watch it. So yeah, I watched it on Peacock as soon as I could. I think you watched it like at 1 a.m.
It was earlier actually, I think.
And then I think 1 a.m. maybe my time. And I think I watched it like, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember what time I watched it, but I watched it.
It was 8 p.m. Eastern my time.
When you watched it?
Yep.
Okay. And then I know that I watched it. When did I watch the movie?
So
it was like 1 or 2 in the morning because I did the review
for you it was like for you it would have been like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, something like that. Well, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, that's right. Because we watched it the day before it was supposed to come out.
Yes, it was.
Remember they released it early, and we were like talking back and forth. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's what I'm saying. We watched it early,
right?
So we developed our opinions before we even knew what the reviews were.
Exactly. Yes. And then I think you came out with your review just a little bit before I came out with mine.
Yeah, I did it like immediately, and then you
my spoiler review or spoiler-free review or whatever. But yeah, just I mean, and you know what's funny about it too is the first time I watched the movie, I had to watch it on this computer with headphones on, sitting in the living room where my mom and my stepfather and my grandmother were all making dinner and doing all this stuff. And but it was either that or I go shut myself into that room, which is, I didn't want to do. I didn't feel like sitting in the room, and maybe I should have or not. And I even thought about too, maybe I should wait till dark, but I was like, no, fuck that,
I wish there was a way to have like a big Halloween Ends discussion with like a large enough group of people where there's people who talk about how Halloween Ends wasn't what they wanted, but that could actually tell you what they wanted without it being the exact same thing they've already gotten in the past, if that makes sense. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like people say there are people who say they want something different, but at the same time, when they get something different, they complain because it's not what they wanted. But what they wanted is like Jamie Lee Curtis cutting off his fucking head. But we already got that.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Like, I mean, how many times do you need to see Michael and Laurie fight throughout the whole
exactly? And I said that, and I also thought they were going to do that. It kind of looked like they may be going that way for a minute, and then they did the thing. And to me, that was the town's. This was still the town's story. We finished, in my opinion, even though yes, Jamie Lee Curtis has to be there. I guess in the way the movie came out. Yes, she was there. She was one of the instruments that stopped it, and that's she struck the final blows. But it was still just like with Kills. It was still more the town story than hers.
I mean, and they said that.
They said done in 2018.
It wasn't even about her. That's what they said.
Yeah.
They specifically state that in Kills that it was never about her. And again, if you want it to be about Laurie, that's fine. But you've already gotten that. You've gotten an ending where Laurie lives and Michael dies. You've gotten what I mean? Now you've got an ending where Michael lives and Laurie dies. You've got all different things. Where what other combination do you really need? And that's my frustration with people who talk about how much they hated Ends and how it's not what they wanted. But then you ask, well, what did you want from it? And they either tell you exactly what they want, which is something that they've already gotten, or they literally say, well, I don't know, but not that. Okay.
Later, Sean. Yeah, I fully agree. Like, and that's something else too. Like with this movie, or let's say TCM, for example, there are now multiple timelines for Halloween. If you don't like a certain one, you don't have to watch that one.
You go back to the one
you
that
watch
you
a different one.
I mean, that's what I mean. We've already gotten everything we can possibly get with this Michael Laurie stuff. We have them as sister and brother. We have them not as sister and brother. You know, like I said, we have Laurie alive, Michael dead. We have Michael alive, Laurie dead. I mean, how many different ways do you need to see it?
I mean, if they decided again to do another film that followed the original Halloween, I'm of the opinion, and other people may disagree, as long as it's got Michael killing people in it, I'm cool.
I agree.
You know, as long as Michael's in it killing people, I'm cool. It doesn't have to be the same Michael. Well, I mean the same Michael. It's got, you know, the same Michael, but like when they brought the Corey aspect into it, didn't bother me at all because Michael was still there doing his thing, and they gave reasons, and I enjoyed those reasons, and I followed it. You know, I was like, okay, this makes sense with what they did in Kills. Oh, it also makes sense with those. This is what they did in 2018. So this is something they had planned. Okay, yeah, COVID threw things off, but they still had these things planned.
This is what I wondered. I think I mentioned this to Jason one day. Like, imagine if they made the movie like Halloween Ends, right? But they somehow did it where you see like Michael Myers or the Shape killing people, and the movie ends, and that's it. You think that it's him killing people, and then they do a follow-up movie to that where you find out that it wasn't Michael in that previous movie; it was actually Corey, right?
Like a resurrection, but the opposite.
But my question is, if people watched that first movie thinking it was Michael, like, would they have loved it and then find out that it was Corey and then go back and end up hating
and then start talking crap about it?
Yeah. Or would they stick by their original opinion and like that movie for what it was? Because at that point, it was Michael killing everybody.
Right.
So that's what's curious to me, because people say, oh, well, there wasn't enough Michael killing in the movie. But you get to see the Shape killing because Corey's the Shape in the movie half the time. So you still get to see the Michael Myers mask. You still get to see the kills. Like, what is the big deal? I mean, just because it's not Michael behind the mask?
And like I said, I do think it should be Michael behind the mask. But if it came out that that's the way the movie was, and I didn't know any better, it's not going to change my enjoyment of that film.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. There's a difference between preferring it, but then completely hating the movie because it's not Michael.
Yeah,
it's
kind of like with
New Beginning,
Friday the 13th 5. Yeah,
exactly.
But the thing is with that movie, we all thought it was Jason until the end of the film.
That's what I'm saying. If they made the movie where you think it's Michael, and then they come out later on and say that it wasn't,
and that's when everybody started hating on it, was when they found out it wasn't.
I wonder what people would have thought about it then.
You know, but here's another point too, is that, as I said, we as horror fans should be grateful for right now, for 2022 and the horror movies we've gotten. We're also extremely spoiled. I mean, we're sitting here having conversations like this.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we could not be having any conversations at all. Look at fucking 2020 and the fucking shit that happened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Where we weren't hardly getting dick, except for, luckily, those of us that watch, you know, independent horror.
Yeah.
We got some good independent horror films that year. I was even in one. Yay. But, you know, it's... at least we have this to talk about. At least we have something. How many dry horror years have we had?
Exactly.
You know, and now here we have all these great movies coming out, whether you like them, hate them, whatever. At least they're there.
And again, I've noticed this doing the Tuesday Top Tuesdays. There's been some years where I'm like, do I really want these to be my top two? And then there's other years where I can barely pick two because there's so many movies to choose from. So
it's like last year, 2015, right? Was what the last year we did. The two movies you guys talk about, I want to see still so bad, and I own them both, and I still haven't got around to watching them.
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk and The Witch.
But even if I love them, would it change my ranking? And I didn't put those two on there that I liked to suck Wild Eye's dick or anything. I genuinely, out of that year, of the movies I've seen, those are my two favorite films.
But it makes sense. I mean,
you know,
Cat Sick Blues especially, I think that movie's awesome. I mean,
and I really liked Animalistic. I like rape revenge films, though.
I like Animalistic a lot, too. But I'm saying, like, for me personally, Cat Sick Blues definitely would have been a contender.
Dude, that's a badass film.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's definitely worthy of a top two. It's just, I love The Witch and Bone Tomahawk so much.
And I need to watch those. In fact, I may do that tonight. What the fuck? It's 10:30. I don't know what time we're going to get done here, but maybe I'll watch one of those.
You personally, I think Bone Tomahawk you'll like more than The Witch. Bone
we still
Tomahawk
doing that cowboy thing or whatever? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Horror Western Week.
Yeah, are we gonna do that still?
I thought so. Yeah.
When are we planning on that?
It won't be till next year at this point.
Okay, well, and do you remember all the movies you wanted to do?
No.
There was a couple I wanted to throw in, but you said you already had a list set. So, were those two on there, The Witch and Bone Tomahawk?
Well, Bone Tomahawk, The Witch really isn't Western. It's more like
it's like in Pioneer Days, ain't it? And shit, ain't it?
More, but it's not Western. It's like takes place in like New England, so it's not Western.
Oh, okay. Well,
Bone Tomahawk definitely. I mean, Bone Tomahawk starts out like a slasher film, then becomes like a Western, and then becomes full out fucking.
Maybe I'll say Bone Tomahawk so we can watch that together. I don't know.
Bone Tomahawk is fucking awesome. And plus it's Kurt Russell, and it's just great cast.
Is it really a horror? Because I've heard a lot of people say it's not really a horror. It's just a really brutal film. I mean,
it's. If I don't understand what is, if it's not a horror film, then what the fuck is it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I
put it this way: a guy gets sawed in half from his fucking crotch through his face. Like, it's definitely a horror film. His guts come splattering out. It's not like a.
You look at stuff like The Hateful Eight or Django or Tombstone.
It's a Western horror film. It's more horror than those films.
Yeah. Art the Clown style, huh? I don't know. Well, guys, what do you think, Joe? Think we got our points across?
I think so.
I just really did. I really did, dude. For some reason, and that's something I really miss about like our Friday night streams is just or just streaming in general. I don't do it as much as I'd like to, and I like doing it. It's just when I watch something like this, sometimes I just want to talk about it and I want to get feedback right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I watched that movie and I was like, man, I really want to talk about this as soon as it's done. So I think I'm going to do a stream.
Yeah, Bone Tomahawk, I definitely recommend. Again, it has a great cast. You got Kurt Russell, you got Patrick Wilson, David Arquette. You got a good cast in there. It's one of those movies where you like love the characters, so you always get that feeling like because you know they're not all going to survive, obviously. So it's like you love these characters, and then when it gets to the point where it's like they're going to start dying, it's like, oh shit, because now you're kind of screwed because the movie makes you like feel like you're part of their group.
And Kurt Russell is kind of like the modern Western king. He's kind of like the John Wayne or the.
Yep, he's the Western sheriff in the movie.
The fucking Clint Eastwood of our day, you know.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh. All right, guys. Well, hey, we really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
Want to send thank you to everybody that came in, even the troll.
Yeah.
And yeah, I knew that guy was a troll. I mean, his fucking name was Brad Reed. I even have a suspicion who it is, and I just don't care. You know, same guy's been trolling me for years. Don't care.
Yeah.
But it's funny though because he hasn't actually come in a stream in forever. If it is him, he doesn't come in a stream in like 2 years. So
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, much love for the Super Slash brothers. We are always still around. Speaking of being around, we need to talk about when we're going to do that next Sopranos thing. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much. Much love to y'all. See you later.